So, you want to look hauntingly beautiful like Ellen Hutter or Mina Harker, that exquisite, kind of moody, edgy beauty that can only be captured in a gothic horror movie? That's just a makeup look. I can help with that. Before we start the tutorial, I would like to take one moment to say thank you so much for 40,000 subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for enjoying my content enough to want to see more of it. I would also like to take a moment to say that my book launches in almost exactly a month. It is The Browse Women. It's on Goodreads and Amazon, and pre-orders are live. So if you want to see more of me and you want to support me, I think it's pretty good. I spent a while writing it. Onto the look. To start, I think I'm just going to skim through my foundation, my corrector, and my concealer. These steps functionally never really change for me, and I do have a base routine with a full technique breakdown if that is to your interest. One thing I do want to do is to tone adjust this base. This is a lovely shade match, but it's not a tonal match to my body. I actually have quite a cool olive undertone, so I'm going into this Made by Mitchell curve case. It's the lightest one, and I'm going to start off with this lightest green that is almost a perfect match for my body once it's blended out. First, going to tap that lightly over the top of the foundation. I've never really found a foundation that's my perfect match because I kind of have a cool olive undertone, but this little mixing palette very much helps. Actually would kill for someone to come out with a shade of foundation that was just this color. I fear the things I would do with this in a liquid form, I would be too powerful. From there, I'm going to go into these deeper shades. And let's sculpt the face a little bit. I look ahead, I discern where my natural shadows fall, and then I'm just going to tap directly into those because I like my natural bone structure and I would like to accentuate it. Controversially though, I don't love the other blush shades that are in that palette, so I'm going to go into this Auric face palette, which is just absolutely stunning. And this just feels like this is my ideal blush tone. If you want to go real gothic and moody with this look, you can just skip blush entirely. That's not where I want to go with it. I also fear my face really does benefit from having something in this front portion. And a little bit of like a natural Edwardian flash isn't going to go astray. So for the classic romantic flush, I like to take my blush on the apples of the cheeks and then down and out. And I find it just works really well with my facial structure. Mixing a little bit of the highlight and the balm from the palette to take on the high points of the face for that perfect pearly shine with almost no hard shimmer. I was looking at close-up shots of Ellen Hutter's face throughout Nosferatu, and though she definitely has this like ethereal pearlescent glow, there's no hard shimmer on that base whatsoever, and I respect that. Spray and set the face in that order. This is the Tia Mask Fit Makeup Fixer. I'm not particularly fussy about my setting sprays as long as the mister is fine enough, but this one is really lovely. I find it prolongs the wear of my makeup, it doesn't separate, doesn't fuss, and that's really what you need. And remember, we let that completely dry down before we go in with our powder. Because I spent a lot of time building up that beautiful glow on the cheeks, it would be counterintuitive to cover it up. I'm going to keep the powder largely to the center of the face, setting my under eyes, my smile lines, and around the corner of the mouth. So when I look straight on, all the areas that need to be powdered are beautifully set down, and then I can just turn my head a little, bam, bam, radiance. And my eye is watering, so we're going to have to take a moment to let it get out whatever it needs to. Two eyeshadow palettes I'm going to duck between while I figure out the vibe for this eye look. This one is the Shellwe Elaina palette. This is an indie beauty brand that just does beautiful color curation. And this is the Blendbunny Longing palette, which just has all the spectral gothic tones you could ask for. Starting with a matte, kind of greeny gray transition tone, I'm going to blend that into the socket, and this is going to set the tone of the entire eye look. Taking a deeper greeny blue matte, I'm going to tap that into the outer corner and slowly and carefully bring that into the socket as well. After I go in with the deeper eyeshadow, I'm going back in with the initial transition tone and making sure this is really blown out and hazy. I want the edges on this to be soft. And on the lower lash line, I'm going to go in and mirror the placement of the matte eyeshadows I've used. So the dark one is going in the outer corner, and I'm going to blow and blend that out with that greeny grey. Now this shade is just too special. It has to go on the lid, right? And then you do what? You go back in and you blend the edges. Something I've yet to introduce you all to is that I'm a big believer in the layering of shimmers for a more complex and interesting eye look. So I'm dipping back into the Elaina palette and I'm going to go in with this beautiful shimmer, which I'm aware is kind of a sparkly wet look. And I'm just going to tap that over the top. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see what it does on camera, but I will aspire to show you. And you want to take both of those shimmers and kind of just dab them messily onto the lower lash line. I find the loose sparkle just a really beautiful effect for this type of vibe. And here's the thing, if you're into this soft goth, like ethereal, haunting aesthetic, I really need to get you onto my red eyeliner game. This is the Shiseido Kajal Ink Artist like liner and cream shadow in Azuki red. Specifically this tone, they have a different red that just looks like way too much. I love what this does right in the waterline. The little 13-year-old alternative child in me just enjoys this. Also going to run a little bit of that along the upper lash line and bring it down so it kind of meets at the outer corner of the eye. Whenever I use a gel eyeliner of any variety, I like to go in with a corresponding eyeshadow in a similar tone and just tap it over the top. This is going to stop it transferring up onto the lid, and it's just going to smooth out any rough edges. There, popping on a little bit of the Half Magic mascara. This is a tubing mascara, which means even though my eyes water horribly, it doesn't go anywhere. These lashes are the Auric Clouded Lash, and I've been wearing these for years for really obvious reasons. They're just so beautiful. I'm going to do a little bit of a thin brow because really that's all my brows have the capacity to do at the moment. You do what you need to do for your brows. I don't control your life. I'm just here doing makeup with you. The way I like to do my brows is I go in first with a pencil and then I go in specifically around the tail end of the brow with eyeshadow. Because I don't have any hair, I want to make sure that the pigment out here is dense enough that it's not really obvious. I kind of shaved off the tail end of my brows, and I find this does the trick. Dipping into the Dasique Violet Knit Blending Blush Palette, and I'm specifically going to use this lavender tone to set down the powder blush, the cream blush that we applied earlier. Without a doubt, Black Moon Cosmetics does some of the best spooky makeup. There's just something about this color curation that reads so early 2000s goth. I just don't know what lip I want to do. I'm sure no matter what I pick, someone will be here to disagree with my choices in the comments. Let's try Libra. I'm going to apply it all over the lip and then blend it out almost immediately with a finger before it sets. Do I like that tone? I think I like that tone. I know the one I'm looking for is Haunting, but it seems to have wandered off in the meantime, so I think we're going to stay here for now. My favourite lip discovery of 2024 was probably these chunky Korean lip pencils. I'm going in with what is effectively a taupey or like a contour shade, and I'm going to use that on the perimeter of the lip. Finishing off the lips with a touch of the Fwee gloss in Currant, 30%. I just wore this the other day and I really enjoyed the texture. And I think that little touch of purple is going to help tie the lips in with my top, which is going to make this all far more cohesive. So this is the finished makeup look. I revised the lips slightly by adding like a darker mousse right into the center of the lips. I think it just adds a little bit of a moody factor that was missing. I hope if you try this, you feel beautiful. I love you all so much, and I'll see you another time. Bye.